Hey Grinder School, this is UBoat for Grinder School, and this is the continuation of my session that I played at 5 PLO Zoom. This is part 2, and we'll start the video right away.
You know what? This is really trashy queens, but I gotta raise it since I'm in the cutoff and I do have relative position. If he were to fold, um, you know what? Multi-way short stacked. I'm gonna check back. I mean, it is a semi-wet board, and I think it could hit any of my opponent's range. And for us, we got nothing. We got queens and maybe eights, and I'm gonna fold this one. And let's see what they have though. There is a mate straight, and I really doubt anyone has any queens. If someone have ace queen, I would be really surprised. If I was in position, I'd be betting out on that. Yeah, exactly. Really strong bet, and ooh, nine. See, this is the fun part about pot limit Homa. They'll do this to you. He's 10, queen 8. Ooh, he had the straight. Nice. See, you know, these micro six players, some players, they do get a little bit tricky. I don't think slow playing is really the best idea, but that was really interesting. Now, I wouldn't do that personally if I have a made hand. I'm not going to bluff. I'm going to just bet out and try to take the pot down. But, you know, he did get value out of it. And I don't know why that guy called, because maybe because he's the guy was short stacked and maybe thought he was bluffing. But, you know, when people re-raise on the turn, it's rarely a bluff, especially a re-raise on the river. Like that's such a scary move. Oh, that's kind of neat. So this guy's playing mobile. I didn't know that. No, we can't call. Our sidecars are not very connected. All the suited ace. If that was a limp, I would definitely over limp, but I'm gonna flip this hand. You know, even if we do have position, when you know it's gonna be possible, like 3, 4 players multi-way, you want to have the nuttiest of hands, and to the nutty, I mean the hand that's going to give you the nuttiest hand, like the nut flush draw, the nut straight draw, the top set. This is such a wet board. I can definitely hit his range. I'm never betting that. Sorry, betting on the board like that. This one I'm still going to check back, and he does have a position on me, and he's not going to get 1 cent out of me. It's too bad. Wow. That was really interesting. So you know what? I'm going to explain something. This is awesome. Like if this was a ring game and I had a read like that, I would say I'll write exactly the hand that he has. King diamond, jack diamond, king diamond, and checks on wet board of 8 clubs, 7 spade, 9 spade, deuce spade, 10 clubs, 10 clubs. This is such an awesome read. So anytime when we have such a wet board and he checks back, I know that he'll probably have like an overpair, and he's the type of player who will probably fold to any bet, especially when the board is so wet. It's rare, you know. I mean, at these micro stakes, sometimes some players just don't know how to read a board, but it kind of shows me that he can kind of read, and that it could connect to my range. So no, it's pretty decent. I would say not the best player, but decent player because he's not willing to put a cent in. So definitely a read that I would use if this was a ring game. But being Palam in Omaha, and I really don't keep track of any players when I play Zoom. Um, yeah, interesting thing. But something I would take note of if I was playing a ring game. Another really junky hand here. This is a decent hand. We do have this really gappy in the middle, but if everyone else folds, I'm gonna definitely call this one. I mean, I'll only play this heads up multi-way. I'm not willing to get money in on this one, and no, because it's not really nutty. I don't have any suited suited hearts, and you know my straight draw is not gonna be that nutty too. I'm not gonna have top sets, so I'm gonna fold that hand. I don't care if I have pot odds to draw out, I'm gonna fold those. Okay. In this hand, I'm definitely gonna call. Um, Although he 3-bets, this is such a nice little hand to have. Calling out of position with the 3-bets tough. Oh crap, and that's such an awful board for us. And I hate folding, but sometimes the board doesn't go our way. And these guys are deep stacked, so they got us covered. And yeah, we are folding that hand. I'm gonna fold that junky hand. I mean, no matter. I mean, we always hear about the power position in Palomama, which is very, very true. It's probably one of the most important things. Having position and trying to estimate your opponent's range. But sometimes, I mean, if you have other junky cards, I mean, you gotta fold. Especially at these stakes when players don't know any better. At maybe small stakes and mid stakes, you can open almost any hands in position, and you can take advantage of position to win small pots. But at micro stakes, as you know, people rarely fold, and you do have to open your stronger range. And another important thing to take note of, I mentioned before, even if you have pot odds to call, make sure your hand has a very nutty quality to it to call. If you don't, I would suggest folding if you think, even if you do have pot odds. And this one, if they check back, I'm betting this one. This week is 30 cents. And this one, 25 cents. I'm going to fold this one. I mean, it was a weak bet, but geez. I didn't have any backup there, so. I'm going to bet out of this one. Maybe kick it down. Represent maybe a set of 9 and 10s. You don't want to lead out every single time you have a chance. No, but just use it sparingly. It does work. It's a very powerful move to take it down, especially when your head's up. Multi-way, I would only do it, if I actually had a made hand. But multi-way, I'm not going to bluff. I'm going to raise this 3x. I do have nice connected side cards. It is a lower end, and it is suited ace. 4-9. I'm going to definitely bet out 25 cents. Still a dry board. I don't think it really hits his calling range. Yep, we take it down. And that's when we have to read. See, 4-4-9. I mean, like, who's gonna? I really doubt he had 4 and 9. Maybe possible 9 if he had a rundown, but I really doubt he had 4s in that hand. And I think he, and also like, if you were my opponent on that, I'm gonna open that up. I'll fold this hand. That's right. Can I explain another interesting thing? Here's the thing. So we got a 4-4-9 flop. It's rainbow. The reason why I let out was, this micro six, if they're calling, I'm putting them on like more of Broadway hands, or at the lowest, some like, 8, 9, 10 jack rundowns. And I really doubt they have rundowns at these stakes. They usually have like king XX. And so that's why I let out, because I really didn't think this really hit his range. And on his part, he should kind of look at my hand too. I mean, like, I'm at the cutoff, and what am I racing with? If these guys folded to me, so I'm usually raising, maybe the higher end. At these micro stakes, most of these players will think that I'm raising maybe something with ace XX or anything with ace in it, like maybe ace jack 10 8 or something like that, right? But nothing with like 4 5 8 7. And so I don't know. If I was this guy, I would probably re-raise my bet, because I really would not have think that this really hit my range. Okay. So let's move on. You know what? This has been a very interesting session so far. We had, it's been pretty action-packed. I mean, it's been a roller coaster. I was down 200 BB. First I was up 100 BB. I was down 200 BB, and I'm up, what, 50 BBs? Not too sure. I'm folding that. This really trashy hand. Trashy jacks. Even if suited, that queen doesn't do anything. If that was ace, maybe. If that was ace, I would call. But we do have that useless 5 there, so we're going to fold this hand. And he's a short stack, and he's going to have a smaller SPR on the flop, which I doubt he knows what it means to have SPR. Another hand that looks awesome, but it's not that great. The chance of hitting top set with kings is very low. Even top 2 pairs with these hands is very low. The only thing that we have is getting a straight draw, the nut straight draw, or the nut flush draw. So it's not an awesome hand, that's all I can say. I'm just happy to take it down pre-flop. Look at these junk hands, eh? Well, at least we have a Reno 1 guy. We're folding that. And this is a hand, it's going to be really important. I mean, if it gets folded to small blind he raised, I would definitely call. I mean, I would rather have him have at least 100 BB. And I'm going to fold to this. And let's see what he has. See this guy who 3-bet, right? He's a short stacker. I'm counting on he has ace XX. Let's just check if our guess it right. And he's deep stack, and he's rightfully so. He doesn't really need to fold. And I think he made his flush. And you know what? Really curious to know what he would have had. It's rare that people fold their ace XX at these stakes. So maybe that guy had maybe some different hand. Maybe he caught something else on the flop. Definitely not flush. Trashy aces. Reason being, it's not suited. Sidecars are pretty nice. And remember, this is what I was saying. Under the gun, a middle position of aces, I'm never 3-betting that spot. Especially with all these players to act. If it was maybe suited aces, I would. No, even then I wouldn't. And I do think we have the better hand here. Yeah, you know what? 35 cents to take it down. One thing that would ruin my play here is if the button re-raised me on this flop. Usually if they have the flush draw, they're going to just call. And if anyone calls, I'm going to barrel this one again. And he re-raised me. Really interesting, eh? Kings or 6 has us crushed, so we're going to fold our junky aces. Wow, we got some aggressive players today at these stakes. You know what? I'm gonna raise this. We have ace, king, queen on 9. It's kind of a dangler, but it's separated by 2 cards. 10 jack. We have suited aces, chance for a very strong straight draw, flush draw. Yeah, it's been really fun game today. I'm really enjoying this a lot. I'm gonna raise this 3x. Yeah, it's been a really fun game for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's been a really interesting session. Like, a lot of tricky spots, and a lot of interesting spots that I wanted to talk about too. Like, remember earlier I was talking about not raising, not 3-betting at middle position versus under the gun. We had that spot come to fruition, and yeah, this has been really fun so far for me so far. That's why I love Polynomia. Like, look at this. I'm just playing one table, and I'm having a blast playing this game right now. Whoa, yeah, definitely we're not getting that in. We have total utter junk. Oh yeah, you know what? It's the Olympics. I guess I should have changed my avatar to a Canadian flag, eh? We are kicking butt in 2014 so far. I think we're on day 6, day 7. Um, and today, Canada just beat uh, it was Norway 3-1. That was really good. And Canada's, it's been fun. I love the Olympics. Okay, we're gonna fold this hand. Yeah, so when you're playing pot limit Omaha, no, there's nothing wrong with playing one table. You're going to improve your game a lot more than multi-tabling. Like, I strongly believe that multi-tabling really hinders your improvement. And if you really want to improve as a player, and if you want to really crush these stakes, you gotta play, I think, at the most maybe 4 tables. But anything less than that is optimal, I believe. And that's where you start to improve your game, make solid reads against players, and just start playing really solid poker. And you really start to think about the game a lot more too. And you can pause. Say if you're tilting, I mean, it does happen sometimes. You can stop your tables right away. And if you're playing well, you can just add one extra table. I wouldn't. I mean, usually if I'm winning multi-tabling 2 tables, I'll just stick to 2 tables. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Um, if I'm like in a zone and I'll open like 3 or 4 tables and just keep that up for 2 hours. Whereas on days that I just feel average, I'll usually open 2 tables. 2 tables is usually my average, and just try to make reads against other players. And this one, we can never slow play this. There is a flush draw, and we always want to bet out. If you don't bet out, you're making a mistake. And if you take the pot, just be happy with it. You did win that pot. Never slow play your top set, because it's such a very dangerous move to slow play your top set, because so many times if you slow play those and check back, your opponents are going to draw it on you with mate flush or straight. And sorry, I'm going to just fold that hand. Now we're starting to get a lot of junky hands. I mean, this kind of hands, I mean, what's so good about it? Nothing. Well, some of you may say, well, you got a suited card there. Well, it's deuce 3. What are you trying to do? Draw to a wheel? Even if you draw to a wheel, someone's going to... No, it's going to be a sucker straight. Someone's always going to make a better straight, especially multi-way at these stakes, so we're going to fold that hand. Now, what's so great about this? They'll say, well, again, it's double suited to the kings and queens. Well, so what? We don't have really connectivity with the 5 and 7. We're early position, so that really sucks. So we're going to play a very trashy hand out of position. So no, thank you. We'll fold. 4, 6, Jack 3. A lot of people they think, well, 3, 4, 6. Well, I'll call. Maybe we can hit a low board. Yeah, you might hit the low board, but someone's gonna draw it stronger against your hand. So we fold that. Okay. So remember, just keep asking yourself. I mean, it's a habit that you have to develop. Like, if you're folding, why are you folding? If you're betting, why do you bet? Like on this one, like there's no reason to limp early position. So there's no good reasoning behind that one. And I'm folding because, well, even if I call, these players might have a stronger hand, and my hand doesn't really have any really strong draws either from Jack 10. We don't have any nut flush draw, and 4-3 is just a useless hand. And this one, King Queen is decent, but the 4s are useless, so I fold at middle position. So it's like what all the other instructors say, where there's no limit or any other type of poker. When you make a bet, whether you call, you raise, well, why do you do it? You have to have a solid reasoning behind that. If you can't think of any reasoning behind it, well, I suggest that you fold, sit out, and study a little bit more. I mean, sometimes you will get into a difficult spot where you don't know what to do. Then what you do is you take, on this one, you know what, I'm at cutoff. I do have kind of Broadway cards, although it's not suited to the ace. I'm going to open raise that one. And see, it's gonna hit the flop very well. We have a chance of getting not the nut flush draw, but the second nut flush draw, straight draw, but no sets. So we got 2 out of 3, so that's not too bad. And these 8-8, it just really sucks. And I'm out of position. I hate these kind of kings. Um, I'm only gonna call if he okay, he calls, so I'm folding. If that was suited kings, yeah, I would call. But those 8s doesn't do us any good. So we hit set of aces. Well, what do we do with that? Well, nothing, because someone's going to get a better set or draw to a better set. And be careful with that. Some people try to better draw to the boat in PLO and Omaha, and you'll see that a lot more as you move up higher stakes, like when you get to 100 and 200 PLO. Not so much at these micro stakes, because I don't think they know that you're supposed to be drawing, that you can't draw to a boat. Especially when you hit top 2 pairs on the flop. And on this one, you know what? We have a beautiful hand. I'm gonna bet really weak because we got nothing to lose here. We got top set and the straight and nut flush draw, and we got the boat. And I'm gonna bet a little bit strong. So 55. If he folds, oh well. Remember, you always bet in Palomoma with your main hands. Don't check back. And one thing I do have to mention, although everyone's still pretty horrible, I really believe that, you know, I mean, if you use your VP, I mean your HUD, whether it's HEM or PT4 or PT3, you know, you'll see a lot of donks with like say like 90-50 VPIP PFR ranges, or like 60-40 or 60-0. But more than that, I would really pay attention to their post-flop play. Like, you know, what's their c-betting percentage? What's their aggression level on the flop, turn, and river? Because those VPIP PFR, which are so important, no limit, is not as important in pot limit Omaha, because, like, you know, I've seen some people with like 65 VPIP PFR who play really well post flop, even at these, you know, micro stakes. So don't give those stats too much credit. That's why I like to play without stats quite a bit, without my HUD. I find that it helps me pay more attention to reads than anything. I hope he 3-bets. I mean, that's one of the few times I like to get my stack in. If I have aces, even junky aces, against short stackers who have, say, less than maybe 60, 50 BB, big blinds, I usually like to get in pre-flop. That's the only time I like to do it. And, you know, you gotta gamble sometimes. And it's not gonna be that affect your variance that much, because it's only like 50 big blinds, right? Not 100 big blinds, but that's the only time I do like to gamble a lot pre-flop. Well, is that a Philippine flag? Sorry, my wife's from Philippines, and I don't think I've seen a Filipino flag in PokerStars before. I've seen Filipino players, and for them, you know, even when they play 25 PLO and they're winners at these stakes, it's a decent living back in Philippines. Not so in Canada, but in some other countries, it can be pretty big. Well, he folded. It's kind of rare to see. We have suited aces on the button. We're going to raise 3x against a deep stacker and 100 BB stacker. And I wonder if he'll 3-bet. And it could hit us, I don't know, maybe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bet 20 cents. See what he does, how he reacts. That's weird. I'm not folding to a min raise like that. You know what? The reason why I'm not going to bet here is he may have a better boat. So I'm going to just check back. Oh, I had a better boat. Because I thought he had maybe set of 8s or 10s, and if we have 5-4, we do have the boat, but I thought he was maybe trying to slow play his better boat. Huh, interesting play. Oh yeah, ooh, suited queen. Okay, I'm gonna call this one. Normally, that's an iffy play. Like it's a 50-50, like 50% time I'm gonna fold that. 50% I'll open up, especially at these lower stakes, because they are bad. Percent of top, we got top 2 pair. No, no bet out. 40 cents. And he's drawing to a flush. Oh jeez, he made it. And then we're not gonna bet out here. And that's one really important thing about polynomial when they call with the single. I mean, it's an easy fold here. When there's a flush draw on the flop and they call, they're drawing to a flush, almost guaranteed, almost like I'll say 80 to 90% of the time. And when the made flush hits on the turn, there's no way I'm betting on that street, unless scenarios look different where I can make a bluff and have better position and better reads on the player. Junky aces, a lot of junky aces today. And remember, junky aces, I'm going to just call the limp. Calling the limp isn't too bad, but if you're the one to open limp, it's just a horrible play. Because, what are you going to, like, why do you even bother limping that 1 BB? Like, if you have aces, you're not getting any value out of it. You're allowing other people to get in to outdraw on you, and you don't want to do that. And that's just... No, it's not junky aces. We do have... No, I'm going to check back. And these multi-way, but I want to... Oh, jeez. I don't think I can bet out on this board because there's such a 5-7 or a 7-10 that's just so easy. They're so wet. I just can't. Yeah, I just can't bet out on this board. Yeah, we're folding here. And that's how you conserve your stacks. Sometimes, especially on a board like that when it's multi-way, you can't bet out like that. There's 3 other players. It just hits any of their range, and we all call the limp pre-flop. So yeah, I don't know when my next video will be, and I think on my next video, I think I stated on. I don't know if I did state on the forums, but I'm hoping that I have time to make a little bit more of a theory video of. No, maybe I have to do one on pre-flop theory on PLO, which has to do with calling 3 bets. I think it's a really important concept to cover, because I think many players at the micro stakes think that since we have 4 cards instead of 2, we can call 3 bets more often. And it's true if you're in position, but less true if you're out of position. And I think that's what I'll be focusing on. So we are going to call this one. We do have a chance for a nut flush, nut straight. Oh shoot, I folded. Okay. Jeez, I really didn't want to fold that hand. So 2 misclicks today. Jeez, and it really hits our hand here, doesn't it? We're gonna check back. It's just too wet. Nine of hearts would really help. Oh, that was such a disappointing misclick. Yeah, so as I stated before, I'm gonna focus a little bit more on calling three bets out of position. I think it's a huge mistake. I think I see too many people making that move just because they have four cards. They think they have all the right to call three bets out of position, and it's a huge leak. And I'll try to get that out. I don't know when. I told Jeffrey about it. I'm gonna have a very busy schedule for next year, and I'll try to get it out hopefully in March. And after that, more about flop and flop textures and the turn, more of post-flop play. Because I think if you watch the video that I made and also the video that Mr. Padawan and JGB made about starting hands, I think that'll give most players a good idea and a solid foundation on the starting hands for Pot Limit Omaha. I'm gonna call them. And what I think that is another important thing is after you grasp that concept, another really important concept to learn is just reading the flop, the board textures, how it hits your opponent's range and maybe your opponent's perception of your range. So that's what we'll try to focus on too. And I think in the next couple of hands I'll just fold it out, and I hope you got something out of this video today. And we're not going to just bet out with top pair here, or we have position. The reason why I bet was, although it's multi-way, they just check back. It was just, remember, this is all based on reads, right? They check back. Well, what does that mean? It means weakness, especially multi-way. If it was heads up, they may try to solo play and check raise you, but in multi-way, everyone plays very face up. So if you do have position, you're playing the power. You're using your power position to make that play. So when those three players check back, I was about to fold, but I realized, I was in position. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking. And when I realized I was in position on the button and they all had checked back, all I had to do was, bet half pot, and I took the pot down. This one I'm going to fold it. So just keep in mind of those things that even though I didn't even really look at my cards, I just used the power position to take those pots down. And those small pots are just huge, are massive in your win rate. And it'll help you become a very, very strong player at the stakes that you're in. I'm going to raise a 30 BB. And I'm going to set up the next big blind. And we do have, he calls, he's deep stacked. I'm going to check back. Nah, I'm going to fold. It's just too much. I have a gutter. Do I have top pair? Call one? Nah, we'll fold. And, whoops, I thought that was the end of my video. I guess not. They want me to keep playing a little more. So I'm going to be sitting out on my next, when I'm at the next big blind, and as I did right here. So I hope you got something out of this video of playing in position and a little bit about reading, the flops and when it's good to lead out, and some little bit of a roller coaster, right? Like I was up 100 BB, then down 200 BB, and then up again. So remember, Parliament Omaha is a game with a lot of variance, but in the long haul, if you're a solid player, you're gonna be winning all the time. So don't let those variants pull you down, and don't let those running bad cause you to play too loose and force you to play trashy hands. Never do that. Just keep your hand range the way it should be. You know, play fairly tight at the blinds in that early position and loosen up only at the button and at the cutoff. And start understanding, the flop textures. And I'll have a video maybe in a month or two from now about that. And I hope to see you guys soon. And if I don't see you soon, I hope to, I'll just, pop in and out of the forums. And, I do enjoy reading our Grander School forums a lot. So I'll see you guys soon.